I'll just go ahead and get that started. Okay, so welcome. My name is Veronique Lambert, and I'm joined here by some others. We'll introduce them late in a little bit. And this afternoon, we're going to be giving you kind of an introduction to a program that actually has been running for a few years now in New Jersey public schools. And so we just wanted to take the opportunity to give an overview of what the program really is and how it connects to Sustainable Jersey for Schools. So first, we'll just take some time to, as I said, introduce the team. This is the team that runs EmPowered Schools in New Jersey. And as well, I just wanted, because this program does link to Sustainable Jersey for Schools certification, I'm just going to briefly explain what that connection is. And then I'm going to turn it over to Allison, who is going to give us a more in-depth look at the program itself. We'll even go on the web platform and see how that works, so you have a good sense of how you would be using it with, a class or a club or a group of students. And then we're also very fortunate that we have a teacher here with us today, Kelly Stone from Long Branch Public Schools. They've been doing the program for a number of years, and she's actually going to give us some insight into how the program has worked at her school with her students. And then, of course, we'll leave some time at the end for your questions, any questions that you have, and hopefully we'll encourage you to sign up your schools to participate next year. Okay, so this is these of us. So of course, I'm with Sustainable Jersey for Schools, but the others on the screen are Doug Abbott, who's a director of Alliance to Save Energy, and then Allison Miller, who's the manager, also Alliance to Save Energy, and then Bridget. Bridget's not with us today, but she is the local project leader. She's the person who really is guiding the schools in New Jersey and who also trains the teachers and provides a lot of support to the teachers who are implementing the program in New Jersey. So the Alliance to Save Energy is the organization that actually created the program and runs the program. And then there's a connection to Sustainable Jersey for Schools. And I'm the program manager with the certification program. So EmPowered Schools is actually it runs in other states, not just New Jersey. But of course, we're in New Jersey, so we're going to focus on the program in New Jersey. And it's actually a program that's developed by the Alliance to Save Energy, which is, they're a national organization, and they do more than education. They do a lot with policy and research, as well as outreach and education in schools to advance energy efficiency on the whole. And they've actually been around, I believe, since the 70s. So they've been, tried and tested organization that's done a lot of good work to advance energy efficiency. And this is one of their very popular programs that we rolled out in New Jersey a few years ago. So in New Jersey, the program is funded by utility companies. So we have at the bottom of the screen there, you'll see the logos for PSC&G, New Jersey Natural Gas, South Jersey Gas, Elizabethtown Gas. Right now, they're the ones that are funding the program. So there's no cost to schools in New Jersey to participate in this program because the funding is coming through the utility companies for schools that are in their service areas. And then the connection with Sustainable Jersey is that we, if we advance to I believe the next slide, we've figured out the connection. So this program, a lot of the activities from the EmPowered Schools program actually connect very nicely with the overall purpose of our program, which is to encourage schools to be more sustainable through recognition, with certification, also through a lot of support in terms of grants, but also through offering them programs like this. And of course, the EmPowered Schools program, which is about saving energy, lines up directly with some of our actions. So schools that are doing EmPowered Schools activities can also at the same time be earning points towards getting certified. And here we have a picture of a team from schools that got certified a few years ago. And then the map is just to show how many schools we already have that are participating in Sustainable Jersey. And this program is also completely free. There's no cost to schools to just sign up, register, and to tap, go to our website and open up the actions and tap all the resources and guidance we have. So far we have over 1,000 schools registered. and over 300 schools that are already certified. And now we can go to the next slide. Thanks. And then it's a very long list of actions. I don't want to overwhelm you if you're not familiar with Sustainable Jersey for Schools, but I just wanted to make the point that our program has a lot of different actions or things you can do to show you're sustainable. We're not asking you to do all of them. You have choice, but many of the actions in our program do connect very nicely with the EmPowered Schools program. And so, for example, the two at the top is, professional development for sustainability, because the Alliance does train the teachers to implement the program in their schools. So, and that training is part of, you could apply that to earn points to get certified. And then the overall program, which is educating students to change behaviors in the school to save energy, which is an action we call behavior-based conservation programs, is a direct tie into that as well. Okay, so I'll turn it over now to Allison to give us an overview of the program.
Thanks, Veronique. So like she mentioned, we are the EmPowered Schools program, which is an education wing of the nonprofit, the Alliance to Save Energy. And the main mission of EmPowered Schools is to empower students to generate change. So we like to give students knowledge, tips, tricks about sustainability, energy, and climate. But then the main mission of the program is for students to take that knowledge and actually have lasting impacts on their campus and within their community, and to really generate change on their campus and be able to significantly reduce their energy bills, both at home and at school. Sorry, I've got all of everyone's faces covering stuff, so just pushing that out of the way. Some of the benefits of the EmPowered Schools program. So in regards for students, the program is really fun and empowering. It's gamified through our online platform, so students can compete against different schools that are participating in the program to see how many points they can get. And those points are based on energy outreach competitions and different activities that they're engaging in to learn more about energy and sustainability and to do more actions on their campus. The curriculum is project-based, so our platform gives students tools, directions, information, and then they take that learning into their classroom. So they have different toolkits they use, they apply it to real world applications, and it creates that really strong connection between what's happening in the real world and what they're learning in their classroom. There's also a lot of soft skills that our program promotes. So there are a lot of opportunities for student leadership. The program, in addition to being STEM and science-based, a lot of the activities are presentations and doing outreach campaigns, which really help foster those leadership skills, those presentation skills, and students that participate in the program become leaders of their campus. And like I mentioned, we have a competition that some teachers choose to engage in with our program, where we have rewards and recognitions for classes that are really excelling at EmPowered Schools. For teachers, the EmPowered Schools program is extremely easy to implement. All of the lessons are already created, so teachers can implement them without doing almost any prep. All of the instructions, information is all there for them, and teachers can really take it from day one and implement it in their classroom. We have lessons that are available in a video format, so students watch 5 to 10 minute long video lessons that give them background information, and then use that background information to apply it to that project-based learning. All of our curriculum aligns to state, Common Core, and next generation science standards. So it's easy for teachers to implement into their current scope and sequence, and we're extremely flexible. So we let teachers adapt the curriculum in the ways that works best for them. And the last point is just, it's easy to integrate it into existing curriculum. Another feature of the program, Veronique mentioned, it's completely funded by utilities and free to schools. And in addition to that, anyone that enrolls in the program will receive support from the Alliance to Save Energy's EmPowered Schools team. So there's direct support from the local project leader, which includes professional development trainings on how to use the website, how to access and use curriculum, as well as that point of contact will be able to help monitor your progress, keep you on track, and answer any questions that you might have or that you run into, and really be there as a support system to help you implement the program over the course of the academic year. Another fun feature of the Empowered Schools program is we provide every classroom that participates a Empowered Schools toolkit, as well as a set of classroom t-shirts. And the different tools that we provide for the class are shown here. So we have energy auditing tools, which are the 3 on the left, and those tools are used to determine how much energy your classroom is using at any given time. So that looks at heating, lighting, as well as appliances, and students are able to use these tools to measure and monitor energy use and then provide data-based recommendations for how to reduce their carbon footprint. And then our program also includes 2 water auditing toolkits, which is the flow rate and drip gauge on the right. And our online curriculum walks students through how to use all of these different tools so that they can conduct energy audits and water audits on their campus. We also provide t-shirts and/or capes. So we provide capes for pre-K through 2nd grade students who are our empowered energy superheroes, as well as the older students. So anyone 3rd grade through 12th grade will receive a classroom set of our Empowered Schools t-shirts. I talked about curriculum briefly. So all of our curriculum is aligned to state standards, and we have a variety of different, what we call benchmarks, that are there essentially different lesson topics that you and your students can engage in over the course of the year. I've highlighted in bold the benchmarks that are required by the program. So if you participate in the program, you'll want to make sure that you participate in the energy basics, the climate, energy audit, environmental justice, and green careers benchmark, which is wrapped up with a final presentation. And then there are some other areas of topics that you can see there that we offer for teachers to implement as well. So we have some teachers that want to engage with those 6 required benchmarks, and others that want to explore more things. Maybe they're teaching a unit in their class about water conservation, and they're really interested in the Watson water benchmark. The way the benchmarks are laid out is the way that they're displayed on the EmPowered online platform. But again, we like teachers to be able to be flexible. So we have teachers implement these benchmarks in a variety of different orders. Some folks have within their scope and sequence talking about renewable energy in the fall. And while it might be on our website to do in the spring, we let teachers be flexible and pick and choose and work in the order that works best for their students and is based on their students' interests and what engages their students. Here is a quick snapshot of the EmPowered portal, which I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen for a second and do a live walkthrough of the portal. But the EmPowered online portal is a digital space where all of the curriculum and content is held. And so both you and your students will have access to all of the lessons after enrolling in the program. We'll provide you with usernames and passwords. Stop real quick. One second, trying to find. Doug, while I'm trying to find this, do you want to, this might be a good point to, did Doug hop off? Oh, there he is. Hey, I'm trying to get my site set up. Do you want to pause real quick for questions while I pull this up?
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about what Allison's presented so far? Okay, well, if you guys do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and I can respond there, or unmute yourself and just chime in. Thanks.
Okay, great. So I have logged into the EmPowered Schools website, and I'm currently on our scaffolded version for 9th through 12th grade students. And so when you get logins to the EmPowered Schools site, you'll be able to access all of our curriculum. This is logging in as a teacher, so you'll also see these tiles at the top. We have different trainings throughout the course of the year, and all the information from those trainings are accessible to you, the teacher, in these tiles after you complete the training. At the bottom, we have our list of benchmarks, and we have a new benchmark that Veronique, Kelly, and I were talking about different benchmarks to do a walkthrough, and I had suggested climate, but Kelly had mentioned that her students loved the environmental justice benchmark. We'll go ahead and start there and do a quick walkthrough of what the environmental justice benchmark activity looks like. So I'm scrolling over, you can see all of the benchmark titles, and then going ahead and clicking on environmental justice. And we have 3 different activities that students can participate in. The start of each benchmark includes a video lesson, as I mentioned. So video lessons are available here. And then quizzes that students can take that are used as a check for understanding to make sure that students absorbed and understand what they watched in the video lesson. All of our quizzes are graded automatically. So if a student selects an answer, they will then hit submit, and it will tell them if it is correct or incorrect. And as the teacher, you'll have access to all those grades, and you'll be able to see how students performed on their quizzes. I'm going to go ahead and click into one of our activities. We have 3 different activities for the environmental justice benchmark: environmental justice biography, an opportunity to map environmental injustices, and becoming an environmental justice champion. I'll go ahead and click on the last activity. And this is where you'll see that all the information steps content is provided for students. So here's a list of steps for these 9th through 12th graders to use to participate in this activity. Any materials that they'll need, they can download or view here. And those materials will walk them through how to complete this activity. And so becoming an environmental justice champion, this activity provides high schoolers with background information about the city of Springfield and their plan to open a wood burning power plant. And the power plant is designed to be erected in a predominantly lower income neighborhood with predominantly a community with folks of color. And there are different negative side effects to having this plant near the house. And students get all this information. They get a map of where the proposed plant site is suggested by city council to be erected, as well as where it actually is. And then students can walk through this scenario where they are broken into different groups based on stakeholders. So we have some students that represent the city government. They have some students that represent a community-based social justice organization that's trying to fight against the relocation. And then they have folks that are representing the city's arboretum, which is fighting for the environmental aspect and to ensure that it's not on larger government land. I'll do a quick walk through of another benchmark as well. Just to give you a quick peek into some of our other activities, we can jump into our climate benchmark. And again, we have 3 different activities that students can participate in. In our climate benchmark, one of our activities is a carbon footprint journal where students are able to record what their carbon footprint looks like over the course of the week. And so students receive all the list of follow-up instructions in order to complete this task, as well as a file to download, or they can open it with Google Docs. And this is a quick preview of what that looks like. So students can track what their carbon footprint looks like over the course of a week, and it will automatically calculate their impact. And so they can choose an activity in this left column. Maybe it's transportation to school. And so students figure out, well, how did I get to school on day one? And they can pick from the following options, which have different point values associated with them. So students can see the more points an activity has, the larger the carbon footprint of that activity. And this allows students to say, maybe on Monday, my parents drove me to school. We didn't carpool with anyone else. I understand that my carbon footprint is high there. And it allows students to track over time different activities they're doing and to try to make decisions and be able to create those connections of what choices they can make to lower their carbon footprint. The last feature of the website, I talked briefly about the competitions that we provide for students. Students are able to track their participation in the Empowered Schools program through our dashboard tab. And so we have a list of schools with different points that they have achieved, and that's based on how many of the follow-up activities that school has participated in. And this leaderboard updates automatically, so as soon as students submit an activity, their points are reflected on the leaderboard.
Allison, real quick before you transition back into the slideshow. Chantal, you asked whether this can be implemented simultaneously in a school district. Do you mean whether multiple schools in a district can implement it in the same year?
Hi. Hold on, let me show my face. How are you? Hi, my name is Chantal. I'm from Orange, New Jersey. I'm a parent that is working in partnership with the Board of Education. I'm interested in seeing if it is possible to have this implemented on every grade level simultaneously. So let's say, for example, we start off small. We start off with one school who is like pre-K through 7th grade. Okay. That is pre-K through 7th grade. Can we, in the infancy stages of building this, can it be implemented on all grade levels? Has that been in place? Is this in place already?
Yeah, so our program is PK through 12th grade, and we have different scaffolded lessons based on grade bands. So we have our content for pre-K through 2nd grade looks a lot different than the content that I just shared. Within schools, we sometimes have multiple classrooms per school participating, but typically we have one classroom per school engaged in the EmPowered program. We can have additional classrooms, but we have a limited number of toolkits, T-shirts, and stipends that we can provide teachers. And so those resources would have to be shared if multiple classes are participating.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not a teacher yet, but I would like to see how could this be structured. So let's say if I'm head of a STEM department, for example, from pre-K to 7th grade. And I'm not sure of the classroom model, how that goes, like what's subject that's under. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there are a few, like Elson said earlier, we're super flexible with how it's implemented. There are a few options that I've seen, and actually one of them is Kelly Stone, she's going to speak in a minute, her model, which is having the older kids kind of run the program, and as the younger kids come through, they can participate, but then when they get to be the oldest students, they get to be the leaders of the program. So that's one way you could involve multiple grade levels. Another good option is implementing it as a club. So rather than limiting it to one grade level or one teacher, you can say like, hey, if you are interested, you can join this club regardless of grade level and work on this stuff. So, but that said, we could discuss with the schools that you're working with what would be the best option for them.
Okay. So my takeaway from that is pretty much that it's an internal process that has to be determined. That's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, we do leave the decision up to you, but we're happy to help you think through how it might look in different formats or different setups.
Okay. How can I set up that kind of meeting with you guys?
Good question. You can contact us. We're going to have our contact. I'll drop it in the chat as well, but our contact meeting will be available after the meeting too. So feel free to shoot us an email and we can talk about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. And then we had a couple more things come through in the chat. So Renee Hayter asked about linking benchmarks with the grade level curriculum. And we work with an organization called Edgate to align our content to educational standards, including the New Jersey Student Learning Standards. And that information will be built directly into the website on each activity in the coming school year. So as teachers go through the website, they'll be able to see exactly which standards each activity aligns to. And then the last question there is from Renee Williams. So in essence, would there be one teacher at each participating school who would receive a stipend of blank, as well as one classroom set of materials, and that same group will engage in the activities year long? That's the typically how it works. And the stipend, just so you all know, is $200 per school. So it's $100 at the beginning of the year and $100 at the end of the year, assuming full program completion. And then yes, the toolkit it'd be one toolkit per school. In instances where we have had multiple teachers participate at the same school, it just requires a little bit more coordination on who's using the toolkit which days. But it's worked fine.
Sharonda, do you still have a question?
Yes, hello. I was wondering because I have a nonprofit and it's kind of difficult to get programs going on in schools sometimes. Would I be able to do this through my organization? I actually registered the district for Sustainable Jersey, but it's kind of difficult. So would I be able to do this outside of a particular school?
With your organization, do you work directly with schools, or do you work in like an after school club or something like that?
Yes, there are some times that I do partner with schools, but I also do partner with other organizations, and we work with youth. I have a youth advisory council. They are teenagers, high school students, and I'm interested in bringing it to them. And then once they get a hold of it and they're able to handle it, maybe let them work with other young people. But not all teenagers are ready to facilitate. So sometimes we got to know where they are.
Doug, what do you think of that?
I was actually going to defer to Veronique.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Veronique.
Hi,
How you
Sharonda.
doing?
I thought you looked familiar. I remember you from
It's me.
East Orange. So, yeah, nice to have you here. I'm glad that you're interested. So that is a
Yeah.
great question. And I think likewise, we could have a discussion. Right now, the model is that it is funneled through the school, even though I do know that there are some schools that host, like that have outside organizations that say would run a club or, enrichment activities, but at the school for their students. What you're asking about is something a little bit different. So I think, I think that would
be
need
for
to
East
be.
Orange kids.
Yeah, but you're talking about hosting at a place outside the school that potentially has kids from different schools, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that would need to be a conversation, Sharonda. And, again, I'd be happy to have that with you. But all I can say is that, right, but the current model that we have been operating on has been school-based. So even, and it doesn't sound like you're talking about that. So I can't give you an outright answer based on what we've been
Okay.
doing.
Well, let me just say that Tyson, middle high, the vice principal would like for me to do certain things there, but I would have to, it would be through my organization, but at Tyson. So
Okay,
maybe
well,
if I say it that way.
so that sounds like a possibility. So why don't we have a conversation about it?
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
yeah,
We'll do
okay,
that.
I'll reach out to you.
Thank you. Okay.
I can get to the next slide. Okay, that was most of it from the EmPowered team. I will go ahead and hand it over to Kelly Stone, who has been participating in the EmPowered Schools program for 7 years.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Like Allison said, my name is Kelly Stone. I've been part of the Power Save EmPowered group for 7 years here at the Catching Home School. We run our program in different ways in our school. We did it as a lunch bunch type activity our first 2 years, where students would voluntarily come during their lunchtime, eat their lunch in the classroom and participate in the activities. There weren't as many modules at that time, so it was a little bit easier to get through in the short period of time, but we realized that there were so many kids interested in the program and wanted to be a part of it. We ended up turning it into an after-school club, and it's so popular that every year it ends up having a waiting list of students to get into it, which is really exciting. We offer this program, well, first I'm in a K to 5, a first grade now through 5th grade elementary school, and you can just kind of flip through the pictures while I'm talking. There's nothing that goes with anything I'm saying. And it's open to kids in grades 2 through 5. Our 2nd graders are our youngest learners in the program, and they participate in all the activities and actions, but they're under the guidance of our 4th and 5th graders. So as the kids get into 4th and 5th grade, they take on more of that leadership role. You can see in that picture, the Energy Hog came to visit us, and although it's been virtual, it's still just as exciting for the Energy Hog to come to our school and kind of push the kids to get beyond what they're just doing on paper and really dive into that project approach. And they hang posters all over the building, and they're really encouraging kids to turn lights out when they leave, close windows and doors when air conditioning and any HVAC is on. It's really, really great about creating those behavior changes that we need to reduce our energy consumption. But as an after school club, it kind of opened up opportunities for our kids to meet over a longer period of time, get more accomplished, and really dive into some of these activities. You can see in the picture that's up right now, we took the some of the suggested activities, but we kind of went a little bit further. So when they talk about renewable energy, our students go beyond what is presented, and they create their own home that has to be powered by renewable energy sources. So you'll see that they design homes, and these are all just crafted projects made from recycled materials with solar panels and wind turbines, and they present them, and we create videos about this. The great thing and the biggest thing that this program brings to our students is their ability to communicate and stand up and present and actually speak to things that they're passionate and they've learned about. And that's my favorite thing as an educator. So many times we have these lessons and these activities, and our students are engaged, but they're shy and reserved. And of course, that's perfectly acceptable and great, but we want them to come out of their shells and be proud of what they're learning and be able to express it and share what they've learned with others. And the EmPowered Schools program has really given our students that opportunity. They are proud to be part of our monthly news broadcast and share what they've learned. They're excited to share with their homerooms what they've learned during the program and what they can bring back to teach in their classrooms. Students that I never thought would want to participate in a program like this are knocking on my door daily and asking if they can join. They see the excitement, and it creates an energy in the building. It's changed our school culture a lot, and it really is credited to this program. Like Allison showed you before, it's that simple to use. Everything is created for you. It's literally opening up a lesson and letting the kids dive right in. And they're the leaders. I get to sit back and kind of facilitate and watch what they're doing and ask questions, but their creativity kind of runs the program, and they have a ball with it. This year, and I know Allison mentioned before, our favorite unit was the environmental justice unit. They were able to watch some of the great people around the world that have contributed to the environmental justice movement. And then they were able to research students that are their age or a little bit older that have made such impactful steps towards helping with environmental justice. And they could relate to these kids because they were their age, and it's stuff that they're learning about in school and they're able to take on. Talking about connecting it to standards. I mean, how many kids are going to get excited about writing a biography unless it's maybe a famous sports person in a sport that they like? But these kids dove right in. They were researching. They were presenting their biographies to their students. They made posters about it. They were reading articles that are far above the grade level bands, which they would typically understand content at. It really pushes our students to succeed. And productive struggle is occurring all the time with this, and they help each other. It's really just a great program. And the kids enjoy every part of it. I think it's the excitement that keeps us coming back every year. You can see it's always a mess in my classroom when EmPowered is going on, but I think that's where the most learning happens. In the middle of this chaos and mess, something sparks and we get going, and the kids really bring it to life and run with it. There is the contest opportunity within the program. And I've had some years where my kids are not interested in competing in the contest. They just want to learn it, do the activities, the projects, and move on. This year was not one of those years. This group is very invested in the contest. I had to check the leaderboard every week. And if they were not on the top, I got quite an earful at our meetings, and they needed to know what was needed to be accomplished so that they could get back on top. We had some aggressive discussions about other elementary schools and why they were doing better than us in some times. And, you know, we have to remind them that everybody has different vacation times and we can't always be on top, and it's okay. But they love it. I can't say enough great things about this program. And under the leadership of the team that you have here in front of you, it's really excelled. There is so much support for the staff, the teachers that are running this program. We have it as one program in our school as an after-school club, but other schools in our districts do it a little bit differently, and they do it during the day with their own homeroom. We have in our preschool buildings, sometimes it's 2 classes, and they share the same stuff and they go back and forth between the classrooms with the supplies, but it all really does work out, and they do a great job with it. It's definitely on my top recommendation list. I encourage anybody that I meet outside of our district to jump onto this program. It's a lot of fun. It's there's so much support to it. And as a teacher, there's not a lot of work on your end. It's really just opening it up for the kids. The portal is so easy to use, and the kids love participating in it. You can see in some of these last pictures our audits from the building. They were able to bring their audits back home and teach their families about it. And the kids love that part of it. And I think their parents get a lot out of it. We were checking our appliances. We're lucky enough to have our appliances the same in every classroom around the building. So we were checking the watt usage on a pencil sharpener right there, and they were shocked about how high it goes when you sharpen a pencil. So that was an exciting moment there. And you'll see they even got to go into the front office and do an energy audit there, which I don't know, as a little kid, it's really cool to hang out in the front office without being in trouble. So they were glad to be up there. They tested lighting, and the principals even came out and talked to them about it. Hanging signs on laptop carts just to remind people to shut them down when they leave for the end of the day. All these little things contribute to such an important environment that is growing and maturing year after year. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you. It's exciting to talk about something that we're so passionate about here at our school.
Thanks, Kelly. I just have testimonials up here, and then our next slide is questions. So I'll go ahead and leave these up, but wanted to open up for questions for either the EmPowered team or for Kelly herself.
Yeah, thanks. This is Veronique. Thanks, Kelly. I really want to give a big shout out to Kelly for giving that really impassioned presentation and sharing. It really makes a difference when you hear firsthand of how it's happening in a school. So I think we, Allison, there was also a slide with Right, there it is. The sign up is in the chat. Allison's put the link to it's a Google form. It's very easy to just kind of sign up to indicating that you're interested. The one thing that we will check is to make sure that your school, it lines up with the in the service area of one of the utilities that funds the program. But now that we have that many utilities, it's pretty much a broad swath of New Jersey that is covered. So yeah, I totally encourage you, anybody who has questions, and yeah, and Doug has also put their contact information in the chat. I'll put my contact information in there as well. Any questions? I also mentioned that this is being recorded. And so what I'll do is I'll email the link to everyone who registered, and as well as we'll have it up on our website, where we have our recorded webinars for anybody who wants to come back and revisit, or who wants to share it with other teachers that you think might be interested.